What's going on, everyone? The Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving implosion with the Brooklyn Nets is just an ongoing saga. Kyrie Irving opts in. He wants to be traded to the Lakers. Immediately after opting in, Kevin Durant requests a trade as well. And I've talked about on this channel how I don't believe that they didn't have a discussion and they didn't talk before Kyrie opted in, right? Because there were talks and reports and all kinds of stuff about Kyrie going to the Lakers before he opted in, right? There was all the conversations that he might take the taxpayer mid-level, which is $6 million, and then he'd lose $30 million, but it's something that Kyrie would do, this, that, and the other, right? Kyrie ends up opting in. He doesn't want to lose $30 million immediately. Like that day, Kevin Durant requests a trade, and everyone's like, whoa, where did that come from, right? You got Kyrie Irving. What is going on here? Are they imploding, right? Kevin Durant goes to Cy himself and says, I want you to trade me. I want to get out of here. Cy doesn't want Kyrie Irving, and it's just this never-ending drama cycle. Well, it being reported that Kyrie Irving may be on his way out because Kevin Durant doesn't want him there. So to clarify, on the Zach Lowe podcast, Dave McMenamin actually says this. He says, there is a school of thought speaking to people around the league that they think the Kevin Durant trade request wasn't actually about him getting out of Brooklyn. It was about getting Kyrie Irving out of Brooklyn. So Kevin Durant, if you wanted to get rid of Kyrie Irving, what's the best way to get rid of Kyrie Irving? Well, you force the organization to trade him. You say, hey, if you don't get rid of Kyrie Irving, I'm not staying here, right? And this kind of ties in to various other trades, although it is a bit conflicting, right? Because the Nets are trying to trade Kevin Durant first, right? That was the big headlines, that they want to trade Kevin Durant before they trade Kyrie Irving, but it's looking more and more likely like Kevin Durant is going to end up staying with the Nets, not because he wants to, but because there's just no other options at this point. There's no deals on the table that are good enough for the Nets to trade him. So if that's the case and Durant really wants Kyrie out, guess what happens? That means Kyrie Irving is gone. And this is huge news for the Lakers trade. Not saying that Kevin Durant wants Russell Westbrook, but if Kevin Durant really wants Kyrie Irving gone, guess what this means? That means the Nets lost all their leverage because now Kevin Durant, your star player, He might stay if you get rid of Kyrie Irving. He doesn't want Kyrie Irving. You know, what level and how badly does Kevin Durant not want Kyrie Irving? Assuming this report is true. Like I said, there is some conflicting reports, but to kind of further elaborate this, right? The report the other day from the anonymous source from the New York Post and all that stuff that I still think is total nonsense, but that report was that Kyrie Irving didn't want to be traded from the Nets, right? That he wanted to play with the Nets. Well, where did the whole Kyrie Irving trade come from? It came from the media. It came from this, that, and the other, right? It didn't come from Kyrie Irving. Well, what if that is true? What if the reason Kyrie wants to go to Lakers is because he knows Kevin Durant and the organization doesn't want him? I mean, at this point, nobody in the Nets want him. Cy has said he doesn't want Kyrie Irving. You have Kevin Durant now who says he doesn't want Kyrie Irving. You have Sean Marks who doesn't want Kyrie Irving. Nobody in the organization wants Kyrie Irving if this is the case. And there have been a lot of reports just kind of in passing about Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant's relationship kind of on the rocks, that they're basically divorced, right? They're getting a divorce. They're done. They don't want to be a part of this anymore. But if this is true, this is huge for the Lakers because now not only can the Lakers say, we're the only team that wants Kyrie Irving. We're the only team that you can trade with. So guess what? We're not giving you 2 first-round picks. And this is exactly the kind of stuff that I'm talking about, why the Lakers are smart to be patient, why the Lakers are smart to not just go all in on Kyrie, because you're seeing these reports. And I'm not saying that this is 100% true, but if it is, even if it's like 30% true, that is huge because now the Lakers have more leverage to go in and say, not only are we the only team that will take him, but your star player wants to leave because of him. So if you get rid of Kyrie, guess what? Your star might stay. And so then it becomes, how badly does, like I said, Kyrie Irving want to go to the Lakers? And how bad does Kevin Durant want Kyrie gone? Is Kevin Durant worth, losing over Kyrie Irving staying on the team? Like, what happens if Kyrie doesn't play? What happens if, there's so many things that could just cause the Nets to completely implode. It would be a disaster. And this is why I keep saying, I believe that the deal is going to be done. It's a matter of when, not if. Whether it happens tomorrow, whether it happens a week from now, whether it happens a month from now. I think sooner or later, this deal is going to get done and Kyrie Irving is going to be a Laker because everyone knows, all signs point to Kyrie Irving going to the Lakers. However you shake it, from Kyrie to all these reports about the Nets to the owner saying he doesn't want Kyrie, all of this stuff, everything. And it's hard to know, to be fair, it's hard to know what reports are accurate and what reports aren't. But all of the major reports are all in favor of the Lakers. All of the reports that have kind of seemed to have some validity to it have all been in favor of the Lakers. Like, all of the reports the Nets have put out have blown up in their face, right? They put out the report that, Dallas and Philly want Kyrie, and both teams immediately were like, absolutely not. We don't want Kyrie anywhere near our teams. And then there goes that implodes. And now it's like, Kevin Durant, are you willing to play with Russell Westbrook for a year? What if he is? What if Kevin Durant says, I'll play with Westbrook for a year? We'll free up his cap space. You can go get me another guy. Let's make it happen. Let's work it out. If Kevin Durant really doesn't want to be with Kyrie Irving, then this is huge. This is really huge for the Lakers because now their leverage just amplified. Because it's like, what are you going to do? You're going to keep your superstar unhappy? He already wants out. What's going to happen if he has to play with Kyrie Irving or Kyrie Irving decides not to play and causes a big ruckus, a big mess, implodes your team? Now Kevin Durant doesn't want to play. What are you going to do? You can't tank. You don't own any of your picks, so you can't tank. You're in big trouble now. So I just think that this is huge for the Lakers. If we really look at it, assuming this report's real. I don't want to play too much into it, but the fact that this is even put out there, whether it's true or not, is at least leverage that the Lakers could use. Because of course the Nets are going to deny it, but if you're the Lakers and you're trying to get Kyrie Irving, you got this now as leverage. Whether it's true or not, you're still presenting it. You're still going, hey man, I don't know what's true or not. Well, that's not true. Kevin Durant wants to, last I saw, he requested a trade. He had to have requested a trade for a reason, right? He didn't request a trade while you were trying to figure out the Kyrie thing. He requested a trade after Kyrie opted in, right? That's what it is. It makes sense. What if Kyrie left? KD, there was no indication that Kevin Durant wanted a trade until Kyrie opted in. None. So that adds some, value to this report. Kyrie opts in and KD immediately. You're not talking days, weeks later. You're talking like the same day that Kyrie opted in, Kevin Durant requested a trade. That's got to be telling, right? That fits this report. So I don't know. Maybe I'm being over optimistic, whatever. I know people think it's not going to happen, but time and time again, these reports keep coming out that show Kyrie Irving is heading to the Lakers. We'll see what happens. We'll see what develops. But as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think of this? Do you think this is groundbreaking? Do you think this is huge for the Lakers? Do you think, no, it's just another nonsense report? How do you feel about this? It wasn't a report from somebody from the Lakers. This wasn't one of those things. This wasn't like, a leverage play. This was just what he said from teams and organizations in the league that they believe this. Like, that word's coming from somewhere. And I think you'd know, usually they're telling, like, oh, okay, that clearly came from the Lakers. That clearly came from the Nets. This is just a generalized statement. This isn't like a direct, leverage play. This is like I said, it lines up with everything. I think that this is huge for the Lakers, assuming it's true. Again, I don't want people to buy too heavily into it because it's just another one of these, reports that we're getting every hour, right? It's just this nonstop cycle. At the end of the day, it is entertaining, right? It at least gives us stuff to talk about, whether we agree, whether we disagree, however you feel. But, all signs point to Kyrie going to the Lakers. Everybody credible has talked about how the chances of him going to the Lakers are still high. Conversations aren't dead. Woj talked about it this morning. Conversations aren't dead, that it's still possible for Kyrie to go to the Lakers. All of this stuff. Neither team seems to be rushed, and that's because the Lakers are doing the right thing. They're being patient. And by being patient, you gain more and more leverage. And that's all that's happened. Lakers are just gaining more and more and more leverage in this trade. Whether the reports are true or not, it's still just a leverage play that is beneficial to the Lakers. And we're not hearing anything. All signs point to that Nets team is imploding and is a sinking ship that is sinking fast. So just let them sink, because the faster they sink, the better deal you're going to get. But again, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions, however you feel about this, down in the comment section below. One last little shameless plug is I did start As It Stands Lakers. It is a channel just like this, dedicated to only the Lakers, because the Lakers are my favorite team. And on this channel, As It Stands, I talk about all teams, all sports, stuff like that. We have football season coming up, so I'm definitely looking forward to that as well. And I just wanted to make a dedicated channel to the Lakers to give the ins and outs. Now, all the big stuff, all the big news and stuff, I will still post here on this channel. But if you want all the ins and outs and just rumors and theories and just discussions just strictly on the Lakers, link down in the description or in the comment section. Go check out the channel, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot, lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.